Yate, welcome to the Dragon's Den. This is the Young Old Man, and this episode I'm going to be talking about the great Louis Gosset Jr. He's an American actor. He's a black American actor. And Louis Gosset Jr. has been on stages and screens, small screen, big screen, since the late 50s. He's been doing it a long time. And I've been a huge admirer of his ever since I was a little kid. Now, I think I might have mentioned in another video. I don't know if it's a video I posted or not, but as funny as it is, and for people who know me, this is going to be very surprising as like Mr. Pro-Black that I am all the time, right? But I've never watched Roots all the way through. I've seen pieces of it. I know the significance of it as a story and as a as the event that it was when it aired on television in '77, I believe. And naturally, I couldn't watch it then because I was a baby, so there was no way I was going to watch it then. But I know it re-aired like in the '80s because I remember it. But that's the one of the things my father never sat me and my brother down to actually watch. Looking back, it's not surprising to me, but interesting. But anyway, but that was one of Lewis's biggest roles in the '70s that he became really popular for. And going into the '80s, he was like one of the main go-to black actors for a lot of things. Particularly another movie, I think '82, Officer and a Gentleman, opposite that's not who that is. In my brain I was gonna say one name and I'm like, that's not the name that what it is. Richie Gere. Yeah. And yeah, it's an interesting story about that film. It's out there on the internet. I saw a video, they were talking about how I believe they're Marines. Richard Gere is like a good for nothing white boy, basically. He wants to make something of himself. He joins the Marines. Louis Gosset Jr. is his training instructor, is T.I. I think they have a different name for it in the Marines, but I can't remember what it is. But basically, he's a drill instructor. D.I., yeah, he's a drill instructor. And, the executive powers that be in the film world and who want to who are always usually unconscious agents of white male domination, what most people call white supremacy. There was a fight between them, and they wanted Richard Gere's character to win. And whenever you have any film in Hollywood in America that has any dealings with depicting any branch of the United States military has to be on set. They have to have a representative, and they have to approve any depiction of themselves on screen. And so they were like, there's no way we're gonna let you have a recruit be the DI on screen. Like, race did not matter in this instance. They were like, yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. So the Marines gonna get their way. So yeah, it was kind of an evenly matched. They made the fight kind of evenly matched, but yeah, Louis Gosset Jr.'s character kicks his butt because he has to. He's the drill sergeant. Marines ain't going for that. I thought that was funny, but like, I've liked Louis Gosset Jr. ever since when I became aware of him as an actor. I was still a kid, but it was I think it was, when did this movie come out? That's not where I was. Ooh. See, this man's filmography is so long, I gotta scroll. Yeah, no, okay, I remember. So, there's a movie, and there's a huge propaganda campaign with the American government and Hollywood for military stuff. You know, Rambo was big, uh, and Top Gun had come out, and that was like huge. It was huge. Top Gun was huge when it came out. You have no idea. It was huge. And so, whenever something huge comes out, all the other studios and smaller, you know, hangers-on studios, they all jump on the bandwagon and try to make their own versions. Well, they made a version called Iron Eagle, and it's about a kid whose dad's a pilot who gets shot down in enemy territory, and the kid's kind of a good pilot, and his dad's friend is a black guy who's a pilot, and played by Louis Gosset Jr. And the kid's asking him to train him so he can go in and get his dad, and it's really stupid. Looking back, it's a dumb movie, but when I was a kid, it was fun to watch. I loved it. And that was I think that was probably my first like really big introduction to Louis, because I was young. I didn't watch Officer and Gentleman when I was a kid. I watched it as an adult. So, you know, my first awareness of him was, I've probably seen him in other things, because again, he'd been on television and a lot of different things, but as like a big co-star, like a co-lead, for lack of a better term, because yeah, he's a leading actor, even though he's never been given that huge opportunity to actually carry a full movie on his own. He's quite capable of it, and that's it just, Hollywood sucks. Anyway, but yeah, so that was my first real big notice of Louis Gosset Jr. as him as an actor in Iron Eagle. And so my eye was now looking for him whenever I saw him. And when I was still a kid, there was a film, and this is the real reason why I wanted to do this video, because my favorite performance, even though it's gonna sound counterintuitive because of the, you know, things I believe in, the way I look at the thing, but it's not. The real reason why I wanted to do this video was because I was thinking about what are my favorite performances of an actor as an alien. Because, you know what sparked it? It was the new Avatar movie was coming out, and, you know, all those actors in that, you know, Zoe Saldana, the other white boy, and all the other actors that are playing the Na'vi and the Avatar films. Sigourney Weaver played one, you know, she played one of the hybrid characters, but all of the actors that are in that film playing Na'vi, and under the makeup, a lot of black actors. But I was like, and it's good acting, you know, and Zoe Saldana is really good with the super makeup, because she's also Gamora in the Marvel Universe, and, you know, and we're not going to mention that film that she really had no business doing, of a very famous musical icon and social activist that just, I'm finally glad she came out and admitted she should not have done that. I understood her drive. I get her desire to do it. She should have never done that. Anyway, but when the hype of that movie coming out, I was like, who's my favorite, you know, actor in makeup as an alien? And it's always been Louis Gosset Jr. in Enemy Mine. Enemy Mine is a really good film. It still holds up to this day. It's a cheesy type of science fiction film, but, and when Enemy Mine came out in '85, actually came out before Iron Eagle, but like back in those days, you know, I would go to my mom's house, and my mom had cable, so I would watch HBO, and these movies would come on. So when I didn't know, though, when the first 50 times or so that I watched Enemy Mine, I never paid attention to the credits. As a kid, I didn't watch credits. I either knew the person or I didn't, the main actors, or I didn't. I never paid attention to the credits till I got older. So it wasn't until I was older and I was watching it I was an adult, and because it was always one of my favorite movies, and I was looking at the credits, and I said, "Oh, that's Louis Gosset Jr." Like literally mind blown. I was like, I I'm the type of person when I'm watching whatever movie, I'm in it. I'm not always thinking about, as an adult and also an adult who's become a filmmaker, your brain starts breaking down everything you see on screen. And whenever I go see movies now as an adult, it's like, okay, I got to start shutting off those parts of my brain. So I let the kid me out so the kid me can enjoy the film. Because any film can be ripped apart. Any film. Your greatest filmmaker, your greatest director, storyteller that you can think of, their film can be ripped apart to shreds on all kinds of levels, because it's all constructed reality, right? So, anyway, so I always enjoyed the movie and never thought about who the actor was under the makeup. I just thought whoever they were, they worked really well with Dennis Quaid, because I recognized him. He didn't have any makeup on. He was playing a human. So the basis of Enemy Mine was humans and these aliens are at war. They're in space. There's war. And this one human, played by Dennis Quaid, and this one alien, played by Louis Gosset Jr., gets stranded on this abandoned, this like rock planet, right? And the I think they were in a dogfight. They shot each other down, crashed different areas, and so Dennis Quaid finds his way to where Louis Gosset Jr.'s alien character is, set up camp or whatever, tries to kill him, doesn't succeed, gets his ass kicked, and then they start communicating and learning to survive together and forming a bond. And it's actually a really great movie. It's a story that's been told a million times. White people love telling this story, and in various ways. Avatar is really no different. Like, so they love this story. And anyway, but sometimes they tell it really well with spectacle or whatever. But and of course, Louis Gosset Jr.'s character, his character dies, but not in a for lack of a better term, in a bad way. But his species, they're like asexual or something, so his body got impregnated and he was giving birth, and there's complications, and of course the human don't know what to do. And that's one of the hearts of the story, is the Dennis Quaid's character, this white man. He's got this drac, that's what they were called, the aliens were dracs. He's got this drac baby that he's raising, and not only was he bonded to the drac, Louis Gosset Jr., the parent, now he's bonded to the kid like it's his own, because he's the one raising him. And it's a really good story. I'm not going to tell the rest of it. But my point is, Louis Gosset Jr.'s performance under all of this full makeup was phenomenal. Like, it holds up. The movie holds up today simply because of his performance and his capability of projecting the emotion through the eyes, through the voice, with all this makeup on. And the makeup work was actually done very well. So yeah, Enemy Mine was a great film. But like I said, I love Louis, and I love that performance. Like, out of all, because I'm a sci-fi geek, I love sci-fi films. Whether they're like contemporary, on Earth, or they're far future, or space opera, or whatever. I love reading it. I love watching it, especially, and I enjoy it when it's done well. Not so much when it's not done so well, but I got my taste. Other people got their taste. But anyway, I was really I'm happy anytime like actors I see that I don't see a lot, but when they pop up and stuff that I'm not expecting, it's like that's cool. Like so, like the Watchmen show that who did Watchmen? Was it HBO? I think HBO did the Watchmen show. All right, like back in 2019, and with the great Regina King and Yahya Abdul Mateen. So Regina King, Yahya Abdul Mateen, as the main stars, and like at this day and age, this super technology age where they just blast all of the information about everything before you even get to it. Like I don't watch trailers to movies anymore. I don't watch videos. When a movie that I'm interested in, I get an announcement that it's coming out. I'm like, okay, I don't want to see anything. I remember I'm a kid from 70s, 80s, 90s. You know, they had campaign merchandising and media campaigns for films coming out, and usually it was a few months out. You know, at the most it was maybe a year out, but if that was rare, usually you find out a couple of months, 2 maybe 3 months ahead before the movie actually dropped, and this poster starts going up everywhere, commercials for the commercial, the trailer as a commercial, and maybe toy, you know, uh, brands with toy companies or whatever, stuff like that. So, you have a few months, and the trailers, the commercials, the trailers didn't give away the whole freaking movie back then. They were very well edited to help keep interest. Now, you watch a trailer, or everything interesting in the film or the movie is in the trailer, and you're like, a lot of times it's waste. So I don't watch trailers anymore, because like when Black Panther Wakanda Forever came out, I didn't watch nothing. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to watch nothing. I don't want to see nothing. I knew it was coming. Tell me when the day is, I'm going to go see it. I ain't watch no trailers. I ain't watch no videos. If it pop up in the video while I'm watching something else, I'm turning it off. I don't want to see nothing. I want to enjoy the film. I don't want to have half of the action in the film already in my brain while I'm watching it, and my brain having recall while I'm watching. Oh yeah, I saw it. It's distracting. No. So when Watchmen came out, obviously I knew Regina King was in it because commercials, posters, whatever. But when I finally watched the show, I was like, this is really good. And when Louis Gosset Jr. showed up on the screen, I lost my mind. I was like, yes! I love seeing Louis on screen because he's great. And whatever he does, he elevates. Whatever he's on the screen, he elevates whatever the project is. And that man's been working, like I said, pretty consistently since the late 50s. If he's not in somebody's movie, he's on somebody's show. If he's not somebody's show, he's on somebody's stage. Every year since about 1953, which is early 50s, not late 50s. But he started, I think he was pretty young. He started in stage plays in like 53, but I think his first television project was 60. His first movie was like 61. So yeah, like consistently doing it. And then, had a big spurt in the 80s where he was a name, and studios were looking for him. But yeah, that was great when he popped up and Watchmen. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. See, it was already good, but having him in it made it that much better. I love it. So, but yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about was, Louis Gosset Jr. and how great of an actor he is, and that, when it comes to sci-fi, you don't have a whole, well, in the era where I first started watching films and growing up, 80s going into the 90s, most sci-fi in Hollywood, you didn't see us. So, and if you did, we didn't last long. But most of the time we weren't even there, so it tells you what the collective them thinks about the future. It thinks about the present. They don't want us in the future. They damn sure don't want us in the present. But that's a whole nother conversation. So, but but we could be aliens. As long as there's makeup on us, we could be in it. Hence, Louis in Enemy Mine. But he did a great job, and that was just that was butter for me. Like, that's still my favorite. Avatar is cool, Star Wars movies are cool, Star Trek is cool, but my favorite actor as an alien, as far as performance, is always going to be Louis Gosset Jr. Enemy Mine, because that was great. That's all I wanted to say. I think there was something else he was in, real quick. Oh yeah, he was in Hap and Leonard. I like that show. I finally watched the show on Netflix about a year or so ago, and again, I didn't know he was in it, and I was like, the show became infinitely better just because Louis showed up in it. That's so cool. I love that, and because he's so much older now. Don't like to think about it, but I don't know how much longer he's going to be around. So I love seeing older black actors getting into the spotlight and getting shows. And now we're not just, there's a lot more avenues to get work, and I think that's great that he's still getting work. You can't shy away from that level of greatness. It's gonna find a way to shine its way through, and people are gonna have to acknowledge it. But yeah, Louis Gosset Jr. as a dragon, Enemy Mine, is freaking awesome. So if you've never seen it, I suggest you go check it out. If you have seen it and you liked it, hey, revisit it. You may still like it. And if you have seen it and you think it's cheesy, well, yeah, it is. But that's the '80s. Everything was cheesy in the '80s, especially from the lens of today. Take that today hat off, put on your '80s hat, and enjoy the film again, because it's good. Alright, that's all I gotta say. See you next time. Push all the buttons and things, notifications, subscribe, send me money, I don't care. I should put those out there. I got a Cash App. What's my Cash App? I don't know. I gotta do that. But yeah. Until next time, thank you for visiting the Dragon's Den. This is Young Old Man. See you next time. Hagone. Peace.